The kinds of people you will meet, become friends with, and start businesses with are all reflected in your numerical phenomena. At the same time, what kind of person your next generation will become has already been determined by your every action in the present. Dear friends, hello everyone, I am Daishin Ai. I am very happy to see you all again. In over 10 years of research into numerical phenomena, the CosmoMK team has encountered tens of thousands of clients. During consultations, many people often raise questions about troublemakers and disputes. For example, are there certain number combinations that can attract troublemakers? Or do specific numbers cause setbacks in one's career and lead to various disputes? Whenever we encounter such questions, my numerical phenomena research team and I always feel rather helpless. These questions stem from our human tendency to look for shortcuts. For example, if there is an item that can attract helpful people, we are more inclined and willing to buy it, hoping to avoid the long-term effort and cultivation required in interpersonal relationships. Or we might purchase a crystal for protection so that we can feel more at ease when engaging in high-risk industries, instead of considering what kind of consequences their own actions might lead to. For instance, there was once a real estate business owner who had a private consultation with our numbers phenomena advisor. After that, he went on to attend several Fengshui courses, believing that items like the Pikshu could attract wealth, and obsidian could ward off negative energy or petty people. So every day when he went out, he wore a Pikshu bracelet on his wrist, placed a golden Pikshu in his car, and displayed all sorts of so-called wealth-attracting items on his office desk and at home on his study desk. However, last year, his company went bankrupt due to a failed investment. His marriage also fell apart. In fact, when he first consulted with our numbers phenomena advisor, our advisor had already reminded him that his numbers phenomena clearly revealed his thinking patterns. When faced with real investment decisions, he tended to be insufficiently cautious. At the same time, he had an intense desire to win, which led him to overlook some potential risks. Although this way of thinking allowed him to rise quickly and make money quickly, it also came with significant risks that could not be ignored. When these risks manifested in various aspects of his daily life, investment failures naturally became an inevitable outcome. Many people hope to quickly gain access to influential connections and wealth, which is why modern society has seen the rise of all kinds of feng shui masters, energy gurus, and all sorts of so-called secret feng shui talismans. But what about these industries and these products, really? They are all tools created to cater to our greed, our laziness, our desires, and our craving for shortcuts. We must recognize that in our lives, every event, every person we meet, and every possession we have is actually shaped bit by our own actions and choices. Think about it. If, during your collaborations with others, you are always scheming and calculating every little detail, even though you might gain something in the short term and superficial benefits, but in the long run you might lose honest partners or those friends who are willing to treat you sincerely even if you took advantage of them. Over time, what remains around you are merely the factors that have been shaped by your own actions and choices. Because those who remain are people who share the same goals or needs as you. Even if new people come into your life, they will be filtered out through the details of how you interact with them. In this process, we are often unaware of what's happening. As humans, unless we experience pain or hardship, it's very difficult for us to have the motivation for self-reflection. In fact, even when many people are faced with a complete mess, they still lack self-confidence. Often, they tend to blame others for their problems. So in this situation, can wearing some feng shui items really ward off evil or bring good luck? If every day we keep blaming others, shirking responsibility, or carelessly hurting the people who love us, our family and friends, then no matter how many feng shui items you wear, it will still be difficult to attract a lot of people who are willing to help you. These principles may sound simple, but there are still many people in this world who are walking this path that seems like a shortcut, when in reality, benefactors are simply our longing for good relationships. Real interpersonal relationships in life are extremely complex. They are shaped by our interests. For example, what kind of sports you like. In the process of engaging in that sport, you'll come into contact with people who may share your hobbies, ways of thinking, interests, habits, mannerisms, personality traits, qualities, professions, and so on. All these combined factors form the social circles around us, and all this information is presented in great detail within the numerical phenomena that surround us. After more than 10 years of research into numbers phenomena, we have found that by analyzing the information revealed through a person's numerical footprint, we can observe what kind of people are in their social network, what interests and hobbies these people have, what kind of character they possess, what they are engaged in, the quality of their social circle, and how this person interacts with them. What kind of developmental trends will each of them have? What kinds of goals will they achieve? All of this is reflected in our numerical phenomena. So how are these pieces of information manifested through the numerical phenomena around us? Because we can observe a person's emotions and thinking patterns through their numerical phenomena, and at the same time, what kind of behaviors their thinking patterns will produce. When a person has an optimistic outlook on life and a positive way of thinking, they won't let small matters hinder their progress. Their numerical phenomena will inevitably display positive thinking abilities and an optimistic attitude toward life. The people we come into contact with will also be information that matches us. As the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together, and people are grouped by similarity. An individual with a short temper will display numerical phenomena that correspond to that trait. These numerical phenomena will also show that this individual, through different channels and methods, will come to know people or groups whose lifestyles and interests align with their own. Therefore, the people, events, and things that appear in our lives are actually inevitable because all of this has already been reflected in our numerical phenomena. In my consulting cases, there was one client who left a deep impression on me, and I also wrote about it. In my first book, during the consultation process, this client kept talking non-stop, complaining that the friends around him only drained him, only knew how to take without giving back, and loved to complain. At the same time, he was also someone who was greedy for money and easily got into trouble because of it. In fact, everything he said was already reflected in his own numerical phenomena. What was revealed corresponded exactly. That is, every adjective he used to describe others was actually information reflected by his own numerical phenomena. So, was he lying? Actually, no. Everything he said was true because in his eyes, these were the only things he could see. This also determines that only people whose stories completely align with his will appear around him. So for him, this is the entirety of his world. In this world, we humans often tend to blame negative things on other people or on external circumstances, but in reality, all problems originate from within ourselves. We often tend to try to ward off evil by buying some Fengshui items, for example. Or we try to avert disasters instead of facing up to what kind of negative consequences our own actions might bring. In fact, everything that happens in our lives is shaped by ourselves, not by these external objects that can change things. Therefore, the numerical phenomena information provides every individual with a channel to truly face their own life process. When we are able to better understand the numerical phenomena around us, we should realize that many malicious incidents in society, and people or groups who engage in extreme behaviors, inevitably possess combinations of digital phenomena that correspond to such extreme actions. The backgrounds, mindsets, behaviors, and various aspects of the lives of these individuals or groups will all display similar characteristics in terms of numerical phenomena. By analyzing these numerical phenomena, we can understand the motives and reasons behind the formation of these malicious incidents. Moreover, if we are able to take certain measures before such things happen, we can certainly reduce many risks. Because we can do our best to prevent these incidents from happening, or at least prevent them from happening again in our lives. When we are able to more comprehensively understand the numerical phenomena information of each individual life, we can fundamentally reduce the risk of crime taking shape. In fact, during these years of researching numerical phenomena, I have also experienced a lot of helplessness, because for many individuals, the information revealed by the numerical phenomena inevitably leads to certain illnesses. Or for example, when working with such people, their way of thinking, their behavior, and even their character can lead to high-risk outcomes. Various incidents that occur in society are all reflected in the patterns shown by our numerical phenomena. The scope of application for numerical phenomena is extremely rich and wide-ranging. We also hope that more people can understand and appreciate the importance of numerical phenomena in our lives. When you become aware of numbers phenomena, you'll realize that there are actually many opportunities for choice in our lives. I'm very happy to have discussed these topics with you today. See you very soon again next time.